Sometimes our goal is to rearrange or add sentences to a particular place in the paragraph. And the key with these is to see where you would get the smoothest transition from one part of the paragraph to the next. You want the sentences to connect. So you want your sentence, when you add it to the paragraph, to connect to the previous sentence and lead to the next in a smooth fashion. So we have sentence 3. We want to know, to make this paragraph most logical, where should we place sentence 3, which is right here. So let's read the paragraph and see where we're at. One of the big reasons behind workers' lack of sleep is the work itself. To combat the problem of sleep deprivation in a demanding work environment, some companies have begun allowing workers to take naps. The hours the average American spend working have increased dramatically since the 1970s, making it hard for workers to get a good night's sleep. Although employees who sleep on the job are often considered lazy and unproductive, napping in the workplace has been shown to improve workers' efficiency and quality of life. As long as companies continue to demand long hours from workers, and managers should champion napping as a means to keep employees happy, healthy, and functional. So this sentence talks about two things: the hours workers spend working, and the fact that many workers are not getting much sleep. So what would be the best connection? Where would be the best place to put this? So the first part of the sentence talks about working conditions. The second part of the sentence talks about getting a good night's sleep, and that's a problem. So where would we put that? Is it okay in the original? In the original place, not really. Because in this sentence, we're talking about how we can let workers take naps. And then suddenly we switch into how workers were working a lot and it's hard for them to get good night's sleep. And then we get back into naps. We really want 2 and 4 to be next to each other because they're both talking about naps. So we're definitely going to want to move this. How about before sentence 1? The hours the average American spends working has increased dramatically, making it hard for workers to get a good night's sleep. One of the reasons behind workers' lack of sleep is the work itself. Well, this is actually pretty good because at least it's connecting the lack of sleep with this part of the sentence. But notice starting the paragraph with the hours the average American spends working doesn't seem to make sense because there's no lead into that. Whereas the end of the sentence talks about the work and the work conditions itself. So in fact, it might seem to make more sense that this sentence would go after 1, not before. You introduce the paragraph with the reasons why people aren't sleeping is the work. And then you tell them, well, it's because they're working so much, that's why it's hard for them to get sleep. And then you go into a discussion of how to fix it. So I don't think it's supposed to go before 1, but after 1 looks pretty good because it connects this orange bit connects with the end here, and then this red bit leads into to combat the problem of sleep deprivation. So notice it connects the previous sentence and the sentence after it in a smooth way. C looks good. How about D? After sentence 4. Although employees who sleep on the job are often considered lazy, napping has been shown to improve workers' efficiency. And then suddenly going back to the hours they work and hard for them to get a good night's sleep. Now, this is not going to make sense. It doesn't connect to sentence 4. And it kind of connects to sentence 5 well, which I think is the trap because you want to see the hours and then see the hours. But it doesn't connect well enough with the previous sentence. And it belongs better here because then at the end, we're going to return to the idea of the hours. So it's totally okay to keep these separate in this case because we're going to frame the paragraph on the beginning and the end with this discussion of hours. But it makes most sense, as we discussed earlier, for this to be after sentence 1. How about 44? The writer plans to add the following sentence to this paragraph. The judges reported that the entries were delicious. So where do we want to put this? So let's read this. The library is working hard to publicize the project and encourage the public to try the recipes. It has formed a club dedicated to cooking manuscript recipes. Some recipes don't fare well in the 21st century. One club member called her 1800s gingerbread a molasses-laden brick, while others had worked just fine. In another instance of library outreach, a competition at the 2013 Iowa State Fair, contestants baked desserts in 3 categories using recipes from the St. Mary collection. So where we want to put this sentence about judges? The only one that would have anything to do with judges would be this competition. If there's a state fair and there's a competition, there's probably judges. And these contestants baked desserts from this collection. And it would make sense that after the sentence, we would say something like, and the judges, right, of this competition said that they were good. So it makes most sense to put this right after sentence 4. So we're going to look at choice D. And if you check the rest, if you check A, B, and C, you're going to see that they're not going to work as well as choice D, because it doesn't make sense to suddenly talk about judges anywhere else but after the sentence that we introduce in which we introduce the competition. So this one is D. To learn more about Reason Prep's SAT, SAT subject test, and ACT video courses, go to reasonprep.com/enroll, and you can find the link in the description below the video.